starts with breaking news.
That breaking news this morning, fire crews right now cleaning up the scene of a building fire. Crews responded to the area of 120th and Cary Circle just after 5:30 this morning. So right now we don't know a lot of information, but we can tell you Strawberry County officials say no one was injured in that fire. We want you to stay with First Alert 6 as we try to find out more information about what happened. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Christmas Eve on First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Cerise Cole along with meteorologist Jared Lansford, who's tracking our holiday forecast. Right now, it's all about the clouds this morning.
Yeah, how about a gray Christmas Eve?
Well, is that what we're selling for instead of a white Christmas?
It's what we're getting either way.
Gray Christmas.
So, yeah. So be ready for that as we're going through our day. We're going to be looking at warm temperatures out the door, though. So if you are somebody who's getting up and running, maybe you're trying to get a quick run in this morning, temperatures are actually mild for this time of year, thanks to those clouds. 41 is what we're looking at. It feels like 36. So you still need to bundle up, but it is better than what we would typically expect for a December morning. And as we head through the day, we'll go from that 40-ish temperature to right around 50 for our high. So even though we have that warmer start, it's not going to warm quite as much as the last few days. And the clouds are, again, the reason why. We're not really going to lose those all that much. We even are trying to get a couple pockets of fog, not too much in the metro at this point. But once you zoom out, you can see that we are seeing that spread for areas near Lincoln and then off to the south and west of that. And it's a little thick in some of those areas. So if you are maybe doing some Christmas travel out toward Grand Island area, further to the west, that's where you're going to experience some of that worse visibility. First alert to that. As far as what we end up seeing over the next 48 hours, the fog will be a story for us. During the day today, the fog does stay mainly in those areas where it's at right now. But watch what happens as we get past sunset. We really spread that fog, and that's going to be a factor through the evening, dense fog into the overnight, into our Christmas morning. So yes, Santa will be using Rudolph tonight. And as we get into tomorrow morning, if you're traveling, you're going to have to deal with that low visibility as well. Now we should start to improve on that fog some by the middle of the day tomorrow, but it's still going to be quite cloudy. Even when you're seeing that visibility improve, we're still looking at clouds alongside that. And as we get into Thursday night, here comes the fog once again. So we start off Friday with some dense fog as well. It's going to be a recurring theme here over the next few days. It's not until we get into the mid portions of our Friday where we start to get rid of this batch of fog. So it's a lot of that going on. Further above the fog, we also have clouds, and those are going to be in place for much of our day today. We will try to chip away at those some as we get into the late afternoons. We may get a cameo appearance, if you will, from the sun before we get to sunset, and then that fog marches back in. And the clouds are going to be with us all day for tomorrow. There's not really going to be any of those glimpses of sun as we get late in the day. Still though, our average high is 36, so that's very mild air that we're talking about for the next few days, and we even get a little bit warmer there on Friday despite having some of that fog there during the morning hours.
So I didn't count how many times you said fog, but it was a lot. Can we expect anything else in the forecast besides fog?
Yeah, how about we get rid of that fog once we get into Friday afternoon?
Okay.
Yeah, so the weekend is looking a lot clearer for us. Good. So we can look forward to that. And as we head into our Saturday, we're going to be talking about temperatures that also likewise improve. There's what we end up seeing for today again. There's tomorrow, some more fog talk. How about we get past the fog, though? There's where it improves, is as we get into Friday afternoon and Saturday. Pretty mild temps alongside that. It does get a little breezy late in the day, Saturday. That's with a front that comes through, and that's going to really knock our temperatures down. You can see 34 high on Sunday and windy. We're going to talk a little bit more about how that all takes place, if that comes with any kind of precip here in just a little bit. But that is going to be a jarring change that we see there as we make our way through the weekend. Be ready for that. And as people travel, thankfully not much in the way of precip as we head through the weekend. Even into next week, we're still looking pretty dry. We still are in that cold snap for Monday, but then we start to improve after that with some 40s as we make our way toward the new year. So a lot to like with regards to that forecast with no real big travel impacts.
That's not a bad forecast.
Yeah,
not at all.
We could do way worse this time of year.
All right, you just mentioned travel. How are the roads looking?
Well, we've been pretty problem-free for the most part. We did have a crash briefly on the JFK. Looks like that has now cleared.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what we're seeing here. Come with me and we'll take a look through much of the metro. We've got our quad box view. So here upper left, that's in Midtown, pretty smooth travel. Of course, you still have your construction impacts. Don't be expecting that to be gone. But we are looking at things moving through those areas as well. There's the JFK looking better after that earlier crash. 144th and Dodge also looking good. 90th and Dodge very quiet for what we have on the roads. And that's reflected when I show you the map. Small delay showing up as you're heading on Highway 275 in Council Bluffs, roughly around 24th or so, but nothing major with that. And the roads look pretty good. Why don't we check the flights while we're at it? And you can see a lot of on time for those flights. We had one minor delay on a flight earlier this morning, and that's been it. Everything else is going as scheduled. So great sign for how things are moving on the roads, in the air. If you're going to be traveling, do expect a little bit heavier traffic as you get on some of the interstates. You're making your way out and about. Of course, you've got a lot of people like you that are traveling, but it should be pretty smooth. I
like the sound of it. All right, Jarrett, thank you. We'll check in with you again shortly. On New This Morning, Omaha police say a man is in critical condition after a crash. It happened near 85th and Frederick just before 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Investigators determined a truck was traveling westbound on Frederick when it drifted into the oncoming traffic lane and left the road. It was determined the driver had a medical emergency. We'll be sure to update you as soon as we learn more information. Happening today, a suspect in the shooting death of an Omaha teen is expected in court. 18-year-old Barry Burris is facing murder charges over the death of 18-year-old Darren Greer. On December 12th, Greer was found shot near 61st and Bedford. 19-year-old Kashmir Burris and a 14-year-old also face murder charges. Burris will also be in court, but for a separate case. Former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse says he has been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. In a social media post, he calls it a death sentence. Sasse served as president of Midland University in Fremont before representing Nebraska in the Senate from 2015 to 2023. He resigned to become president of the University of Florida, but stepped down from that role last year. Sasse is 53 years old. He and his wife have 3 children. Here's a friend reacting to the news.
Stunned, to be honest, and I was also I teared up. I hate to see someone I know and I respect, but also the father of a young family to have such a diagnosis, and got choked up.
Yeah, the announcement also drawing reactions from lawmakers all over the country. Here at home, Governor Jim Pillen called Sasse's service to Nebraskans, quote, unmistakable. For more reaction, you can go to our website, firstalert6.com. Happening today, the 2 Iowa soldiers killed in an attack in Syria earlier this month will return to Iowa. We are told Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar of Des Moines and Sergeant Nate Howard of Marshalltown will arrive at the Des Moines International Airport at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Howard will be honored with visitation and funeral services on Saturday. Torres Tovar's visitation and funeral are set for Sunday. Coming up, still need a last-minute gift? We'll show you where shoppers are heading to find those perfect presents and why buying local is making a big difference this Christmas. Welcome back, everybody. We are taking a live look outside Omaha on this Christmas Eve. Is that fog we're seeing?
I think it's trying to show a little fog.
Okay, we're seeing a little fog out there this morning. It is the big story of the day. So let's check in with meteorologist Jared Lansford, who's tracking all the clouds and the fog on this Christmas Eve.
Yeah, thankfully we've kept a lot of the fog outside of the metro.
That's good.
We do have those clouds so low, though, when you get those high up cameras, it's like right at the camera level. So we're going to be tracking fog over the next few days. It's going to be a lot of cloud discussion, fog discussion as we head through our Christmas Eve. So yes, the song is very fitting for us today. As we're looking at our Children's Nebraska cam, you can see all of the clouds. 41 degrees where we stand. A little bit of a breeze has it feeling like the mid-30s. So it's warm for this time of year, but it's still definitely coat weather for sure as you're heading out and about. The hat, not a bad idea either. A little warmer to the south where we're in the mid-40s. We're just not going to really move much from that temperature. As we peak this afternoon, it'll be right around 50 degrees with that cloud cover so thick today. Notice that we don't really drop off much tonight either. That's as we bring the fog in full force. Tonight's when we see it the worst into tomorrow morning. And with temperatures thankfully holding around 40 degrees, we don't have to be concerned about any kind of slick spots developing, but that fog is going to be really hard to shake as we head through our day tomorrow. So lots of fog, lots of clouds as we head through into the afternoon. We should see the visibility improve some, but we'll again struggle to move much with the temperature, end up in the upper 40s for our highs. So once we get beyond that, still some fog for Friday morning, but we should shake that for the afternoon, get some sunshine back in our sky, get up into the mid 50s. And then, as I was talking about earlier, we have that front that comes through, and that's going to be bringing some changes to our area. As we get into late Saturday, you'll start to notice the wind come up as we're right around sunset. And as we get overnight, you'll hear that get stronger. Some gusts around 35, 40 miles per hour. Have those kind of gusts into our Sunday too. Notice that 20%, that's for a few flurries in the morning. I'm not terribly concerned about that. That is something that has started to show up a little bit more though in some of the models we use to forecast. So watch for that potential for Sunday morning. You may notice a few flakes. More so it's going to be the cold that you notice with that big change in the temps and the wind come up. This is an air mass that's coming right out of Canada that's going to surge right into the upper Midwest and take us from those 50s down into a struggle to get to around 30 for Sunday afternoon. And we're still pretty cold for Monday. We are going to be looking at the winds coming up alongside that. So we'll actually start Saturday pretty nice. South winds, pretty light. And then as we get right around that sunset time frame, you can see that switch starting to take place. We're already starting to increase the winds in Norfolk. And as we go through the night, we easily get gusts that are around 30 miles per hour out of the north. And I think we could get a few that are stronger than that. Sunday gives us some of those gusts around 35 to 40 miles per hour out of the north to northwest. And when you combine those kind of winds with the temperatures that we'll be seeing for most of the day in the 20s, that means Sunday gives us wind chills that are going to be in the teens throughout the day. So you go from 57 and some sunshine Saturday to a struggle to get back to 30 degrees and feeling like the teens on Sunday. That's going to be a pretty jarring change for us.
Yeah, it sure will be. So how long will that cold snap last?
Well, thankfully, it's not a long one. We're just kind of getting a quick little relapse into some deep winter for Sunday and for Monday. Monday's still going to be pretty cold, not nearly as windy, but we struggle to go back to 30 degrees. Better beyond that, though. You can see that rebound starting to take place. We get back above average on Tuesday, Wednesday, and as we're starting off the new year, it looks likely that we're still holding on to those kind of temperatures. Does look a little bit busier, though, as we get toward that weekend, the first weekend of 2026. And keep an eye on that time frame. Seeing some data that's showing some systems that try to get a little bit more frequent around there. So that could be a pattern shift, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. And you've heard Rusty talking about how February looks like a really busy time frame. We'll have to keep an eye on just what January has in store for us.
All right, we need January to be good to us.
December hasn't been too bad.
No, it hasn't. All right, Jared, thank you. Well, the rush is on to find that perfect last-minute holiday gift. We spoke with some folks at Tannenbaum, Old Market's year-round Christmas store. Justin Vaughn was picking up items for his wife, and he says he wanted something handmade. A few years ago, he and his wife decided to do more shopping at smaller businesses. Their goal is to invest their dollars right back into the community.
The same with the restaurants. We choose 1 or 2 restaurants and we kind of make sure that we're patrons of them and keep the money flowing into them. So it's just, the personal decision we made to try to really pick a few businesses and do our best to show our love to them.
Well, we also spoke with a few businesses about foot traffic at their stores. Many say they're seeing more people thanks to better weather and, of course, the approaching Christmas deadline. Happening today, the city of Omaha will open 5 Christmas tree disposal sites. You can drop them off during daylight hours at Kelly Softball Complex at Tranquility Park, the parking lot of the football field near 156 and F, the northwest corner of the Zoo's parking lot, Orchard Park, and Tahazuka Park. All sites will be open until January 9th. They do not accept wreaths, by the way, and you're also asked to take any lights, ornaments, and tree stands off your tree before dropping it off. Also happening today, the Open Door Mission and close to 100 volunteers are planning special brunches and banquets for Metro families experiencing homelessness. Festivities are scheduled for both Christmas and Christmas Eve. After a brunch of bacon, sausage, cheesy eggs, and croissants today, Santa will deliver gifts provided by the mission's Adopt a Guest program. This year, about 300 community members got gifts for more than 750 people. Well, still ahead this morning, if you're not quite into the holiday spirit just yet, we've got just the thing. We'll show you the festive drink everyone is buzzing about just in time for Christmas Eve. Well, happening today, Christmas Eve is here, and it's time to hoist a glass of eggnog to celebrate. It's our imaginary glass. It's a favorite drink around the holidays. Eggnog, traditionally made with milk, cream, sugar, whipped eggs, and spices. That's it. But when it's served at parties, many people may spike it with alcohol, like a little brandy or some rum. The history of eggnog is actually debated. Some believe the drink was developed in England. Others say it was a medieval European beverage made originally with hot milk. So I feel like you either are a fan of eggnog or you're not. So where do you
It's very
lie?
polarizing. I was actually at the store and I made sure I grabbed some eggnog.
I did too. I love it. I don't even like mine. I just like regular, good old eggnog.
Yeah, you know, it's a classic.
It is.
If you're a fan, you got to have some.
Yeah, especially today, because that's fitting. That Eggnog Day is today.
Yes.
All right, speaking of the holidays, Santa Claus getting ready for that all-nighter that lasts through every time zone. NORAD is here to track it. So the North American Aerospace Defense Command will once again be tracking Santa Claus on radar as he makes his ever-important journey around the globe. You can see the Santa tracker at noradsanta.org. I like this, though. You can call 1-877-HI NORAD to talk to a tracker for Santa's current location. And can you tell us where Santa is right now, Ron? Okay, Santa is the New Guinea at this hour. So, man, he's making good progress.
Yeah, and I know this evening we're going to be tracking that as well live on our air. So keep an eye on that, and hopefully everything goes very smoothly. And hopefully Santa has Rudolph ready to go, because
he's going to need it in Nebraska and Iowa.
For sure, with all that fog.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Christmas Eve. We sure hope you have a very Merry Christmas. We're going to get ready for our update into today's show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air. Have a great day, everybody.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. We want to get right to First Alert 6 traffic and weather with Jared Lansford on this Christmas Eve.
And thankfully, Cerise, we've been pretty problem-free when it comes to any kind of travel out there. We have been looking at things throughout the metro with not much of an issue. Do have a stalled semi here that is in place as you make your way on I-80. Watch for that. That's on the right shoulder as you're making your way around the Capehart area. So that's one of our only problems that we have. So watch for that. Otherwise, we've got a lot of green. When I show you the traffic map, not much in the way of delays anywhere. And it's not just on the ground where things are moving well. No delays at Apley for any flight, so that also in good shape. We do have some fog that's trying to develop, though. You can look at Apley and see that low cloud cover is firmly in place, and we're trying to develop some of that fog. And that's going to be a consistent feature over the next couple days, is to have that in place. With that cloud cover, 41 degrees is where we're at. There's what it looks like visibility-wise near the metro. We just have a little bit of it, more of it as you work your way south and west. So first alert, if you're going to be traveling toward Grand Island, you'll be contending with some of that fog. Right now in the 40s, and most of the day also in the 40s. We're really not going to move a whole lot today. We'll peak at about 50 degrees, maybe get a glimpse or two of sun late in the day. That's before the fog takes over in full force. It will be widespread and dense this evening and overnight. Thankfully, Santa has Rudolph for tonight.
Thank goodness, Jared. Well, to breaking news now. We're taking a look at the scene of a building fire. Crews responded to this area near 120th and Cary Circle just after 5:30 this morning. Right now, we don't have a whole lot of information, but according to dispatch, no one was hurt. It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.